Welcome back to Straight Talk. I'm Laural Porter. We're talking with the mayor of Milwaukie, Mark Gamba, who's announced he's running for Congress in Oregon's 5th District against incumbent Kurt Schrader. It's nice to have you with us.
Thank you again.
Let's talk about the PAC money. You said you will not take corporate PAC money in your run for Congress. Why? And isn't that going to make it really difficult to beat an incumbent who already has, I think, almost $2.5 million in cash in his war chest? More than $2.5 million.
Yes.
How are you going to do it, and why are you making that decision?
Well, how is we're going to? It's a ground game, right? We have so much popular support right now. We will have people knocking doors. That's really our campaign. Is just to get in front of people. I will be talking to as many people as I can. We're raising money pretty well. We've raised over $50,000, and it's all small donations. Every penny of it. And the reasoning is that I have watched Congress people through my period of time watching Congress people get worse and worse and worse as they become more and more dependent on corporate money in general and particular funnels of corporate money. And it's natural, right? It's not that they're bad people. They haven't sold out. That's a phrase that people like to throw around. It's natural to want to help the person that helped you, right? Just change this little thing. It will mean the world to us, you know. It's just not a place I'm willing to go, because my job is to make the best possible change for the people in my district and, frankly, the people in Oregon and the rest of the country. And I think I can only do that if I'm completely clear, and the only decisions I'm making are what's best, not what's going to get me campaign dollars.
You talked about mayors being practical. Let's talk a little bit about your job as mayor in Milwaukie, how Milwaukee's changed in the years you've been there. You've been there since about 2000, mayor since 2015. How have things changed in the town of Milwaukie? Well,
when I moved there, it was not a ghost town, but the downtown was pretty quiet. There were a lot of closed storefronts. It was a bedroom community to Portland. There was really nothing to do in Milwaukie. I don't know if you've been there recently, but the downtown is hopping. And there's projects galore happening. It has really come to life, and it's become one of the popular, a lot of young couples are trying to find homes in Milwaukie.
Is it more affordable there than
It is
Portland?
A little more affordable, and I think they like this kind of small town feel that it has, but it's a 18-minute ride on the max to their job downtown, or they can hop on a bike because we're building good bike infrastructure, and there's good bike infrastructure.
And you ride your electric bike everywhere, I understand.
I rode it here today.
Oh, you rode it here?
Yeah. Yes. So it has become quite popular. The housing prices have skyrocketed. I think they doubled since the light rail line opened, or slightly before that.
Let's talk about some of the things that you've done, things that you're proud of. You have the SAFE program, including $52 million in active transportation infrastructure throughout the city over 9 years. You have a new library. It's a solar panel, 50% bigger, net zero. You're rezoning downtown and central Milwaukie to allow for more density, attracting quality development and reinvigorating the downtown. You have a climate action plan, net zero electricity by 2035, carbon neutral in all sectors by 2050, and your full-time employees are working to do that. You led the visioning process that resulted in a powerful vision for Milwaukie. And we have a couple of photos that I really think illustrate something that's really cool that's happened in Milwaukie. You've encouraged and assisted women to run for council. And for people who are listening to this on podcast, we're looking at a couple of pictures. That first picture was you when you joined the council, all male. And now this is the current council where you're the only male. And you feel like you really made a difference in changing that. Tell us about that.
I did. So it actually ties into the SAFE program. When I first got on council, I happened to be sitting in the back of a room at a planning commission meeting one night and hearing parents complain that their kids couldn't walk to school, and they live 5 blocks away from the school. And I thought about that, and I was like, that's wrong. I walked to school my whole life until I was riding a bike. And I thought, that's something we can fix. So the next budget committee meeting, I went in and I said, let's do this. Let's get sidewalks, at least around the schools, right? Safe routes to school. And everyone was like, oh yeah, that's kind of a good idea. Next meeting, it was like, that's $30 million. No way, that's impossible. We can't do it. So I went out and I found 2 very bright, powerful women to run because of some polling that I had seen around the light rail bond, and encouraged them, helped them a little bit with their campaigns. And sure enough, we replaced 2 of those incumbents who were opposed to doing anything with that, and we started the process, and now we're doing $52 million worth of safe routes to school, ADA compliance, good bike paths and bike lanes throughout the city.
And you're still encouraging women to run for council and other positions?
Yeah, the last council position that became open, Shane Abma stepped down because his day job was getting too intense. He didn't have the time to put in. Councilors put in about 25 hours a week, typically, on city council. And so I reached out to a young compared to me, woman who was on my Climate Action Plan committee, and she agreed to run, and we helped her run, and she's been phenomenal. She's been a real big asset.
We only have about a minute left, but you did mention your Milwaukie Climate Action Plan. Tell us a little bit more about that in the time we have left. Right,
so it's probably the most aggressive climate action plan for a city our size in the state. You gave a couple of the stats. We've concretely, out of the things that we've started to do, the SAFE program is really, frankly, part of that massive increase in trees being planted over the next several years, and then working with PGE to get our electricity to net zero by 2035. So we've got a full-time person, that's all she does, that's all she works on is our climate action. And things are happening with the largest solar array in largest rooftop solar array in PGE territory was built in Milwaukie over this last year, and it's also the largest array on a multifamily complex in the state.
You have other cities that are looking at what you're doing?
Yes, actually Bend is using our climate action plan as the model for their plan going forward right now.
Well, I want to thank you for being here on Straight Talk. It's a pleasure. Good luck with your race. And perhaps we'll have you on again in the future. And I want to invite you to join me next week. We'll be talking about diversity and inclusion in the tech industry. That's coming up next week. And if you'd like to hear of a Straight Talk show with Congressman Schrader, now we have it available on podcast. We'll also have this show on podcast as well, so you can listen to Mayor Gamba. Along with our interviews with Senator Merkley a couple of weeks ago, a show on Oregon's retirement plan, Oregon Saves, and also we have a show on homelessness. And we're going to be doing this in the future with future shows. You can download those podcasts at Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Play. We're really excited about this, so if you miss a show on KGW, you can watch it at your leisure or listen to it at your leisure on a podcast. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week for Straight Talk.